Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 is set in Night City, a sprawling dystopian metropolis where neon lights mask corruption and the line between human and machine blurs almost beyond recognition. You play as V, a mercenary navigating this dangerous world while being haunted by the digital presence of Johnny Silverhand, the rebellious rocker portrayed by Keanu Reeves. This haunting relationship between V and Johnny becomes the emotional backbone of the game, as it constantly challenges your perception of identity and control. The story intertwines V's personal struggles with larger corporate conspiracies that define Night City itself. Throughout the game, you're faced with life-altering decisions that shape not only your relationships, but also the ultimate outcome of the narrative. Choices often push you into gray areas with no perfect answers, reflecting the moral ambiguity of a world where technology and humanity collide. What truly elevates the story is how the open world supports the narrative, from bustling districts filled with unique characters to small side arcs that expand on the city's culture and struggles. The result is a complex and emotionally layered journey that keeps you invested from beginning to end. Uncharted 4: A Thief's End. In Uncharted 4: A Thief's End, Nathan Drake, long retired from treasure hunting, finds himself pulled into one last adventure that forces him to reconcile with his past. The game doesn't just thrive on spectacle, though the cinematic set pieces are breathtaking. It shines in its ability to balance high-stakes action with deeply personal storytelling. Nathan's relationships, particularly with his brother Sam and his partner Elena, form the emotional core of the journey. The narrative explores themes of obsession, loyalty, and the sacrifices demanded by a life of danger and adventure. Character banter and interactions add authenticity, grounding the larger-than-life events with human emotion. By the time the game reaches its conclusion, A Thief's End delivers not just thrills, but a heartfelt and emotional finale to Drake's story, wrapping up the series with both closure and respect for its characters. Disco Elysium. Few games redefined narrative in the way Disco Elysium has. You play as a washed-up detective, barely holding his life together as he attempts to solve a murder in a collapsing city on the brink of political and social chaos. The story isn't only about the crime, it's just as much about the detective's inner turmoil, addictions, and fractured sense of self. Every choice you make influences the protagonist's personality, shaping how he approaches the case, how he speaks to others, and even how he views himself. Themes of identity, politics, and the human condition dominate the experience, demanding thoughtful engagement from the player. With razor-sharp writing and philosophical depth, the game constantly pushes storytelling into territory rarely seen in the medium. By blending RPG mechanics with branching narrative paths, Disco Elysium becomes both a murder mystery and a study of humanity itself. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt casts you as Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter whose search for his missing ward, Ciri, leads him into a world torn apart by war and destiny. The story weaves together personal stakes with larger political struggles, constantly reminding players that every action carries consequences. From the sweeping central narrative to the smallest side missions, every quest feels meaningful, often forcing you to make morally difficult decisions that ripple outward. Characters are layered and complex, challenging you to rethink what good and evil really mean. Rich lore and immersive world building create a setting where even minor encounters contribute to the overarching story. With its blend of love, destiny, and war, The Witcher 3 isn't just an RPG, it's a benchmark for narrative design in gaming. Mass Effect 2. In Mass Effect 2, you step into the role of Commander Shepard, tasked with leading a diverse crew on a mission to save the galaxy from a looming threat. What makes the story stand out is its deep focus on the characters who join your cause. Each companion comes with a unique backstory, personal struggles, and loyalty missions that reveal their true depth. Building trust with these characters isn't optional, as it directly impacts who survives the climactic suicide mission. The weight of your decisions carries beyond this single game, echoing across the trilogy and making each choice feel permanent and significant. Themes of camaraderie, sacrifice, and leadership are at the forefront, and the combination of branching decisions with unforgettable character arcs makes Mass Effect 2 one of the most beloved story-driven experiences in modern gaming. Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2 tells the sprawling story of Arthur Morgan, a hardened outlaw in the Van der Linde gang as the age of the Wild West begins to fade. The narrative is an exploration of loyalty, morality, and survival seen through Arthur's evolving perspective. His relationships with fellow gang members are central, and his personal choices dramatically shape the outcome of the story. What makes the game stand out is its attention to detail. Every small interaction, from conversations around the campfire to major turning points, contributes to a world that feels alive and reactive. The writing and acting are widely regarded as among the best in gaming, elevating Arthur Morgan into one of the most memorable protagonists of all time. Epic in scale, yet deeply personal in emotion, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a story that leaves a lasting mark on anyone who plays it. Life is Strange franchise. The Life is Strange franchise is best experienced as a complete package rather than just a single title. The first game tells the story of Max Caulfield and her best friend Chloe Price, two teenagers navigating adolescence while unraveling the mystery of a missing girl and facing the threat of a devastating storm. Its episodic structure encourages replayability, as every decision ripples outward, changing relationships and altering the story in surprising ways. The prequel, Before the Storm, takes a more grounded approach by focusing on Chloe and her bond with Rachel Amber. Without supernatural elements, the story emphasizes emotions, loss, and the difficult choices of growing up. Just like the original, every decision carries weight, making multiple playthroughs rewarding. Together, these games stand out for their ability to resonate on a deeply personal level, blending branching narratives with powerful themes of friendship and loss. Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the Colossus delivers its story with silence, action, and atmosphere rather than dialogue. You play as Wander, a young warrior who seeks to revive a girl by defeating 16 towering colossi across a vast, desolate land. Each battle is both triumphant and tragic. The colossi are majestic, almost natural forces, and bringing them down feels like a moral compromise. The game raises questions about sacrifice and whether the price Wander pays is worth the outcome. Its empty landscapes deepen the tone, surrounding the player with haunting beauty and isolation. By relying on gameplay and visuals instead of exposition, Shadow of the Colossus communicates themes of consequence, loss, and obsession in a way few other games achieve. God of War 2018 and God of War Ragnarok. The rebooted God of War series transformed Kratos from a rage-fueled anti-hero into a character defined by depth and restraint. In the 2018 entry, the introduction of his son, Atreus, shifted the focus from vengeance to fatherhood, creating a story rooted in love, responsibility, and the struggle to control destructive impulses. Christopher Judge's performance as Kratos adds tremendous weight, balancing fury with tenderness and making him one of gaming's most human characters despite his mythological power. The sequel, God of War Ragnarok, expanded on both the scope and the emotional stakes, continuing Kratos and Atreus' journey while exploring legacy, destiny, and growth. Together, the two titles showcase how even the most action-oriented franchises can evolve into profound explorations of family and personal change. The Last of Us. In The Last of Us, you follow Joel and Ellie as they attempt to survive in a world devastated by a fungal outbreak. What makes the story remarkable is how it shifts focus away from the infected and onto the bond between these two survivors. Their relationship is the emotional core, examining love, loss, and the desperate lengths people will go to protect each other. The narrative doesn't shy away from difficult truths, often forcing players to confront the darker sides of human nature. Its blend of unforgettable moments and emotional storytelling set a new standard for what video game narratives could achieve, making it one of the most influential and respected stories in the medium. Kingdom Come: Deliverance 2. KCD2 continues the journey of Henry of Skalitz, who has risen from a blacksmith's son to a warrior and budding rebel. Haunted by his parents' murder at the hands of Sigismund's forces, Henry's pursuit of vengeance becomes tied to the broader conflict tearing Bohemia apart in 1403. At its heart, the story explores Henry's evolution from grief to responsibility, with his growing bond with Sir Hans Capen highlighting themes of mentorship and loyalty. Historical authenticity shapes the narrative, weaving real events events and figures such as Jan Žižka and early gunpowder warfare into the plot. Player-driven choices influence Henry's path and the world's perception of him, while companions like his loyal dog Mutt enrich the journey. Themes of honor, duty, and the human cost of war anchor the story, making it both immersive and emotionally resonant. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. Clair Obscur. Expedition 33 is set in the mysterious city of Lumiere, where each year the supernatural paintress performs Gauge, erasing all whose age matches the number she inscribes on a monolith. Expedition teams are sent to end this deadly ritual, and the game follows the doomed 33rd attempt. Led by Gustave and their allies, the expedition faces betrayal from Renoir, a man who seeks to preserve his immortality through the paintress. Despite heavy losses, the survivors push forward with aid from mythical beings and the enigmatic curator. Their journey uncovers the truth. Lumiere itself is a fragile canvas created by the paintress, Alan, in her grief. In the climactic choice, players must decide whether to preserve the world and trap Maëlle in the endless cycle or destroy it to free her, erasing Lumiere forever. The story blends surreal fantasy with human emotion, exploring grief, art, and sacrifice in a way that lingers long after the credits roll.